When my father passed away, his estate was divided according to his will. He left me the old family house, some land, and a trust fund. It wasn't about the money, it was about the love and recognition he gave me, his only daughter. But things got messy when my ex-husband, Mark, suddenly reappeared in my life. He had remarried a younger woman named Vanessa, and to my shock, she reached out to me directly. "Since Mark was once part of your family, I believe I'm entitled to part of your father's estate," she said smugly. I almost laughed at the absurdity. "Vanessa," I replied, "you were never related to my father, and Mark and I divorced years ago." But she wasn't joking. She told me she had already spoken to a lawyer. Soon after, I got served with legal papers. Mark and Vanessa were trying to claim that because Mark supported me during part of my marriage, he had a right to share in my inheritance, and by extension, so did his new wife. I was furious, but instead of panicking, I called my lawyer, Mr. Harris, a sharp man with a calm demeanor. He reviewed the case and smiled. "They don't know what they're walking into." Weeks later in court, Vanessa strutted in confidently, holding Mark's hand like she had already won. She wore an expensive dress, probably paid for with Mark's credit card. Their lawyer argued that Mark's contributions during the marriage entitled him to part of my inheritance. But Harris stood up, his voice clear and commanding. "Your Honor, inheritance is not marital property. It is personal property. The will is airtight, and there is no legal ground for this claim." The judge nodded, unimpressed with Mark's lawyer. Vanessa's smirk began to fade. Harris wasn't done. He produced documents showing that during my marriage, I had actually supported Mark financially. His debts, his failed business attempts, even his medical bills, I had paid them. The courtroom went silent. Harris looked directly at Mark and said, "If anything, Mr. Daniels owes my client repayment, not the other way around." Vanessa turned pale. Mark shifted uncomfortably in his chair. Their case crumbled in front of everyone. The judge dismissed it within minutes, and even considered sanctions for wasting the court's time. Afterward, Vanessa stormed out, hissing at Mark. "You told me this was guaranteed." Mark avoided my eyes. For once, he looked small. As I walked out of the courthouse, Harris patted my shoulder. They thought greed would win. But the law isn't on their side. I thanked him with genuine relief. A week later, I received a message from Vanessa. She begged me not to press charges for legal harassment, claiming she didn't know better. I ignored her. She had tried to steal my father's legacy. That wasn't something I could forgive. Mark, on the other hand, sent me a pathetic email apologizing. I didn't reply. He had made his choices, and I was no longer part of his world. Instead, I focused on honoring my father's memory. I renovated the family house, turned part of the land into a community garden, and felt proud knowing his legacy was safe in my hands. In the end, their greed only exposed their weakness. My lawyer had outsmarted them with the truth, and I learned that sometimes silence and preparation are the best revenge. Because while Vanessa thought she could demand my father's estate, the reality was simple. She walked away with nothing but humiliation. And I walked away with peace.